Welcome back to The Explainer. Okay, today we're doing something totally different, and honestly, a whole lot of fun. We're taking a deep, 30-question theological diagnostic tool and turning it into a high-energy, fast-paced quiz all about the Gospel of Matthew. We're going to really test your scriptural and historical trivia here to see just how well you know this foundational text. So get ready, because the clock is about to start ticking.
Here's the game plan. We've handpicked a bunch of questions and split them into 3 difficulty levels: easy, medium, and tough. For every single question, you'll get 4 options, and you have exactly 5 seconds to lock in your answer before the correct one lights up. So keep track of your score on your fingers, grab a pen, whatever works. Let's see if you can nail a perfect 8 out of 8.
All right, level 1, the warm-up. These first few are just to get the mental gears turning, so take a deep breath. Here is question number 1. Before being called by Jesus to be an apostle, what profession did Matthew actually practice? Was it A, fisherman, B, tent maker, C, tax collector, or D, physician? 5 seconds on the clock starting now.
And time is up. Did you guess C? Because the correct answer is tax collector. Yeah, if you look at Matthew chapter 9, verse 9, Matthew, who by the way is also known as Levi, was literally sitting right at the tax collector's booth in Capernaum when Jesus called him. Give yourself a point if you got that one. Let's keep the momentum rolling.
Question 2. What sign did Judas Iscariot use to identify Jesus to the crowd that came to arrest him in the Garden of Gethsemane? Was it A, pointing his finger at Jesus, B, greeting him with a kiss, C, handing him a piece of bread, or D, washing his feet? Timer is moving, make your choice.
Time. The correct answer is B, greeting him with a kiss. According to Matthew 26, this was not just some spontaneous thing. Judas actually set up a deliberate, prearranged signal with the crowd, telling them, "The one I will kiss is the man, seize him." Pretty stark historical detail there.
Okay, final warm-up question. Let's finish strong. According to Matthew chapter 28, what command does Jesus give his disciples in the Great Commission? Is it A, overthrow the Roman garrison, B, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them, C, stay strictly within Israel, or D, build grand temples? Lock it in.
And the answer is B. The famous Great Commission instructs the followers to go out and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And just like that, level 1 is in the books. Tally up your score. Did you go 3 for 3? I hope so, because we're about to turn up the heat.
Level 2, stepping it up.
Welcome to the medium tier. The theological depth here is definitely increasing, so you've really got to know your scriptural specifics. Question 4. What unique miracle occurs exclusively in Matthew 14 where an apostle briefly duplicates Jesus' supernatural action on the Sea of Galilee? A, John calms the storm. B, Peter walks on water toward Jesus. C, Andrew multiplies fish. Or D, Matthew turns water into wine. 5 seconds. Time's up. The correct choice is B, Peter walks on water toward Jesus. The really fascinating word here is exclusively. That detail where Peter actually steps out of the boat, walks on the water, and then loses focus and starts to sink, that is entirely unique to Matthew's gospel. You actually won't find that in Mark, Luke, or John.
Moving right along, which 2 Old Testament prophets appeared alongside Jesus during his transfiguration on the high mountain? Was it A, Abraham and Isaiah, B, Moses and Elijah, C, David and Daniel, or D, Samuel and Elisha? The clock is ticking down.
The answer is B, Moses and Elijah. So the "so what" here is the beautiful symbolism Matthew is using. Moses historically represents the Jewish law, and Elijah represents the prophets. Having them talk with a glowing Jesus visually confirms that Jesus is the ultimate fulfillment of both the law and the prophets. All right, our last question in the medium tier. This is a big one. What happened to the massive veil or curtain of the temple at the precise moment Jesus yielded up his spirit on the cross? Did it A, catch fire and burn, B, turn bright gold, C, tear in two from top to bottom, or D, disappear entirely? 5 seconds. Boom, the answer is C. It was torn in two from top to bottom. This brilliantly illustrates a massive theological shift. Tearing that thick barrier signifies supernatural, direct access to God's presence, completely eliminating the old structural barriers of the temple system. Awesome job if you got that right. That wraps up level 2.
Level 3, the final challenge.
Huge congratulations if you are still holding on to a perfect score, but it's time for the final challenge. These last two are pulled straight from the tough tier of our source document. They're academic, deeply structural questions. Question 7. In Matthew 1:17, Matthew structures his entire legal genealogy of Jesus into 3 distinct blocks of a specific number of generations. What is this structurally symbolic number? Is it A, 7, B, 12, C, 14, or D, 40? Think about the very opening of the gospel. Clock's ticking.
Time. The correct answer is C, the number 14. Matthew very deliberately structured his genealogy into 3 blocks of exactly 14 generations. If you knew that piece of deep structural trivia, you are absolutely crushing this.
Okay, we have officially arrived at the ultimate question, the final test for today. Matthew's Gospel features 5 major, distinct discourse blocks structured deliberately by the author. What Hebrew literary parallel is this structure widely believed by scholars to mirror? A. The 5 books of the Davidic Psalms. B. The 5 megalith scrolls. C. The 5 books of Moses. Or D. The 5 wisdom books. Final 5-second countdown begins right now.
And the final answer of the day is C, the 5 books of Moses, which is also known as the Torah or the Pentateuch. This totally reshapes our understanding of the text. Scholars note that Matthew deliberately mirrors the 5-book structure of the Torah so he can present his teachings in a profoundly Jewish context, ultimately positioning Jesus as the new, ultimate lawgiver.
Final score and takeaways.
Wow, what a sprint! Go ahead and take a second right now to tally up your final score out of the 8 questions we tackled. While you're adding those up, let's just step back and look at what all these answers tell us about the source material. The document we're pulling from states it perfectly. The Gospel of Matthew stands as the foundational bridge between the Old and New Testaments, written predominantly to demonstrate that Jesus of Nazareth is the fulfillment of Hebrew messianic prophecies. From those genealogy blocks of 14 to Moses and Elijah at the Transfiguration, down to the 5 discourse blocks mirroring the Torah, literally all of this structure is designed to build that exact bridge.
So, how did you do? Did you ace the easy tier but maybe stumble on the structural stuff at the end? Whatever your score, today was just a taste. The source document we used actually contains a full 30 questions with an incredibly comprehensive explanation matrix. I highly encourage you to dive into the full diagnostic tool to truly master this text for yourself. Thanks for playing along with me today on The Explainer, and keep that curiosity alive. Catch you next time.